composition is important for an image in that well-composed images are aesthetically appealing. An unorganized scene seems like noise, like a mumbling narrator. And remember that we are very much speaking to our players as we create sort of these images. So when we create images that don't really make sense, we're creating sort of static, creating noise. Noise is random, it's without meaning. And so without order and intent, a complex image is the same. And it's the same thing for a complex space. So let's specifically start talking about image composition versus spatial composition, because they kind of a lot of times do go hand in hand. But so an example that I showed last week is this one, where I sort of was creating a composition kind of based on using this sort of rock as a focal point right here. So this composition right here is an example of using static point of view composition, but without a whole lot of thought for spatial composition. This is really just a single space, and I guess you could make a case for there's sort of this upper space down here that sort of relates to this bottom space down here, and there's certainly something to be said for that, but and that's sort of as we're getting into spatial composition. But this, because it's sort of a very single space, it's a small space, there's not much exploration going on, definitely a lot more of sort of a static image composition here. But if we compare that with, for instance, this image, this is sort of an example of both poor image composition and also poor spatial composition. So there's not a whole lot going on for either one. And as I sort of rearranged this into sort of an improved image composition, it also, coincidentally also is better at spatial composition. So if we were to look at this scene from a top-down view, for instance, you can see how we have these sort of different spaces that sort of relate to one another. As you're sort of in this one, you can compare your positioning to sort of this gated area over here. This is as we're sort of starting to get into sort of space composition. Spatial composition sort of helps us sort of suss out the space, explore the space, and understand where we are versus where we are looking, or where we are within the entire space.